a direct line to the president. That's the idea of an annual call-in TV show hosted by Russian President Vladimir Putin. The show allows average Russian citizens to call and ask questions of the president directly. This year's show focused on mostly domestic issues. Russians called in with questions about interest rates, crumbling infrastructure, and low salaries. However, the Russian president claimed that the Russian recession, which began with the fall of oil prices in 2014, was finally over. What does the objective data show? It shows that the recession in the Russian economy is over. We have moved to a period of growth. While the show is typically considered to be a choreographed and scripted event by Western observers, this year, several snarky and defiant comments made it through the filters. Thanks to the program's use of internet comments and text messages on various visible screens, some Russian citizens were able to express their disappointment on live TV. Many of the messages dealt with the upcoming presidential elections in Russia, which will take place in 2018. Putin, who became president in the year 2000, has held power in Russia for the last 17 years. Putin stated that the Russian people should choose their next president. If Putin was to run for a third term, his popularity of 80% according to opinion polls would most likely hand him an easy victory. I want to say that the voter, the Russian people, should decide this. Of course, I will make up my mind at some point, and I do not see anything shameful about expressing that my preferences are this and that. But in the end, we should not forget that the voter, the Russian citizen, and only he can determine who will lead the region, the district, the city, or the country. Putin did not address the massive protests that swept across the country earlier that week. Tens of thousands of Russian citizens attended anti-corruption protests in over 200 cities. The government cracked down on the protesters with more than 1,000 arrested. The president only called for the opposition, which includes noted Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny, currently in prison for organizing the protests, to not politicize the issue. They are exploiting the problems. They should stop exploiting and offer solutions. Those people who offer solutions, those are the people who deserve the closest attention and should have the right to conduct a dialogue with the authorities. We will act in that way. In one of the more amusing parts of the question and answer session, Putin responded to Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko, quoting a line from the 19th century Russian writer Mikhail Lermontov about leaving Russia. Putin curiously interpreted the statement as a desire to stay within the Russian Empire. The question and answer session is one of the three major press events where Russian President Vladimir Putin addresses the Russian people, along with the State of the Nation and the New Year's addresses.